Welcome to Knicks Home Court with your host. My name is Greg Armstrong. This is Knicks Home Court, episode number 31. You can find Knicks Home Court on YouTube. You can also find it on iTunes under Life Culture Sports, no spaces. You can also find it on SoundCloud under Life Culture Sports, again, no spaces. The Knicks are struggling. The Cavs gain another sharpshooter. And do the Knicks actually know how to play defense? Coming up in Knicks Home Court. Okay, we're going to start with the Knicks news first. The Knicks news of the week is simply everything everybody else knows. The Knicks have been struggling lately. As of late, they lost 6 games in a row. They won the game the other night, a miraculous comeback against Milwaukee. They actually should have won the other game. I've never seen a team lose a game. I mean, I've never seen it. I know it's happened, but I've never seen a team lose a game when they're up by 1 point with 8 seconds left and they have the ball. It's pretty difficult to do. All you got to do is inbound the ball and they're going to have to foul you. So, that's a terrible, terrible loss. I mean, that is literally giving away the game. But other than that, the Knicks have been struggling as of late. Now, I'm going to talk about everything, because see, a lot of pundits, they talk about the Knicks and they say, the point differential showed that they were going to lose some games and they weren't as good as their record said. I'm sure it's some of that, but we also have to realize in their 6-game losing streak, okay, Melo had got kicked out of 1 game. Melo missed another game. Porzingis missed 3 games. So that's 4 games without your top 2 players. One of the other being gone. So you can't ignore that part of it. So I think this struggle, yes, the losing streak is bad, but I think it's a little overstated. Now, but what happened last night is just terrible. And I'm going to get into that later because I want to address their defense. But again, the Knicks are still a playoff team when they're at full strength. Joakim Noah has been playing a lot better lately. He's playing like the heart and soul that we thought he was. I was very proud about the game they played against Milwaukee with the comeback and actually winning the game. It was very gritty. I'll say a few good, and Ron Baker, he played well, he played under control, but I keep telling people, pump your brakes on Ron Baker. You're looking for that next John Stark, so that next player that comes out of nowhere, he could be that, but he's not that yet. Because always remember, you have an advantage when you bring a player off the bench that nobody's really seen. They don't know what to expect from him. They haven't scouted him. I'm alarmed at the way Jennings is playing. I think Jennings has been very erratic. I even said it even in the beginning of the season. I said, I like this passing that Jennings is doing, but he's never been a passing point guard. He's always been a scoring point guard. Now, I have no problem with him becoming a passing point guard, but eventually he's going to be who he is. And I don't even mind. I don't mind him scoring, but one thing I realized about Jennings is that he may not have a very high basketball IQ. What I mean is, he takes some terrible shots. I mean, almost every shot, I rarely see him take a shot in the flow. He'll have an open shot, won't shoot it. He'll come down and shoot a 3 because I'm just determined I'm just going to shoot a 3 right now. It just doesn't feel like he has any formula to what he's doing out there. Now, when he came on the court and he was doing all the passing, he was doing well there. But a lot of teams have stopped him from penetrating, and a lot of teams are staying with their man. So what has happened is the league have scouted you, Brandon Jennings, and they realize, okay, you want to be a pass-first point guard? No problem. We'll just stick with our man. So now you're going to have to make yourself a threat in order to pass. And what I mean by that is when you're a pass-first point guard, and teams realize that all you're going to do is get in the paint and kick it out to somebody, teams will start staying with their man. Most teams, good defensive teams who scout you. And that's what I'm seeing. So Jennings is going to have to score more. He's been trying to score more. And I feel like Jennings is a little stuck right now in between trying to play the quote-unquote right way and playing like himself. And honestly, I would prefer him to play like himself and let the chips fall where they may. And the reason why I say that, yeah, he's a little bit of a chucker. Yeah, he's a little erratic. But at least you know what you're getting every single time out. And I feel like we don't know what we're getting. We're going to get the passing Jennings, or we're going to get the bad shot shooting Jennings. We don't know. And it's also probably confusing to him. So anyway, I didn't mean to spend that much time on Jennings. But he's not the reason why we're struggling. It's actually a team-wide reason. Like I said, it's injuries. It's defense. It's also, if you notice, in that first loss to Milwaukee, they built that lead. Hornacek should take that copy of that tape in that third quarter and show it to them every time, every day, every practice. Look how y'all was moving that ball. Look how y'all was moving the ball. Look how easy it was to score. And they need to do that. That game against Indiana was a total disgrace. I don't care that you had a back-to-back. That's just a total disgrace. On a back-to-back against Cleveland, you get blown out by 30. Hey, shit happens. You get blown out by Golden State. You get blown out by the Spurs. Shit happens. You should not be getting crushed that early on. You know what? I would even understand if they got crushed by Indiana late. Tired legs, dead legs. In the beginning of the game, from the beginning, they just came out flat. And that's just inexcusable. When you have people who have been in the league as long as they're starting five, except for Porzingis. You got Noah, who's a veteran. You got Melo, who's a veteran. You got Courtney Lee, who's a veteran. You got Derrick Rose, who is a veteran. And the starting five had nothing. Nothing. They played badly. Period. I'm a fan, but I gotta call them out when I see it. I'm looking at. I didn't even watch the whole game. Like, I'm not watching this. When they got down, I'm like, come on, you should never get down by 21 points. And you can't tell me you giving effort if you're down by 29 points. You're not giving effort. They're not that much. You're not the 76ers, and even the 76ers giving better effort than that. And I felt like Hornacek should have went to his bench a little earlier and tried to get some energy from him. He's going to have to do this more often. And sometimes you might have to concede a game and say, you know what, we lost this game. Let's rest our starters, and let's see if our bench players can come back. Anyway, that's the end of Knick news. I'm going to move on to NBA news of the week. And basically, the only news I'm going to talk about is the first trade to go down. The Cleveland Cavaliers have acquired Kyle Korver for a bag of chips. I think it was Mike Dunleavy and some other player. Like I said, a bag of chips. Players that are probably going to get cut as soon as they're playing land in Atlanta. Here's your ticket. You can get the hell out of here. You're getting cut. Simple as that. And I would say this about Cleveland. First of all, Cleveland's looking really good for the championship, right? And one thing I said about Golden State after they got Kevin Durant and they didn't retain Andrew Bogut, they have no interior defense. That's Golden State I'm talking about. That's why they struggle against teams who have interior scorers or teams who have players who like to penetrate and score in the paint, a la Cleveland Cavaliers, a la Memphis Grizzlies. Now, they'll probably beat Memphis Grizzlies in the series because they have great shooters. They have great players, genuinely. Now, I'm looking at Cleveland Cavaliers, and to me, they're becoming the Golden State Warriors East. They still have Tristan Thompson down low, so that's a good thing. And Kevin Lowe, he could play in the paint every now and then. Shannon Fry can't. And they have a player who penetrates, but you always need a rim protector and a legitimate rim protector and rebounder in there. And I think Tristan Thompson is that. So I could see them doing well. But this is a good trade for them. Again, I'm not mad. It happens. They got Kyle Korver. I know he's happy. But that's all I wanted to mention. The Cleveland Cavaliers made the trade for Kyle Korver. I want to move on to the next topic of the week, which is Rambis even teaching them defensive principles? Like, do they even know what defensive principles are? You know why the Knicks defense is so terrible? I'm watching the game, and I have the benefit of, and I'd say every Knicks fan, please don't just watch the Knicks. Watch the best teams in the league. Watch the Spurs when they come on national TV. Watch the Cleveland Cavaliers. Watch the Golden State Warriors. Watch the Memphis Grizzlies now. Watch the best teams. Watch the best defensive teams, and you'll understand exactly what I'm about to say. The Knicks don't have a good defense because they don't understand the fundamentals of defense. I don't think they're being taught defensive principles. They need to be taught some defensive principles. Now, what do I mean by that? All right, I'll give you one example. When the Knicks are down or they're making a comeback, like they were making a comeback against Milwaukee, you ever notice Melo was extending his defense out toward the three-point line? You ever notice the team was not allowing the players to make easy passes? They was making everything difficult for the other team. They were getting up on their man. They were fighting through picks. They have what it takes to play good. It's not just about personnel. No. See, Golden State doesn't have the personnel inside to be a really good interior defense. They don't have the height. That's what they don't have. So I understand that. The Knicks have personnel, and I see it every time. It's about will. When it's extending your defense. It's making every single pass difficult. See, this was great defensive teams do this. Every single pass is contested. Every pick is fought over. Now, I'm not expecting the Knicks to do this all game. Or maybe they can do it all game. And if they get tired, you know what? You got to put the bench players in there. But I know they're not being taught these principles. And if they are being taught these principles and they're not using these principles, then that's a problem with coaching. Because I really look at it. It's really not. I've seen so many plays. And I implore Knicks fans, when you watch the next Knicks game, watch how easy the team dribbles the ball down the court, makes 3-4 passes. The Knicks don't contest. They don't have their hands up. They don't make those things hard to do. They don't impede people running through the paint. They don't fight over picks. All of that is defense. It's not just jumping to block a shot. And that's how Knicks play D. They just jump to block a shot. No, teams you gotta have your hands up. You gotta make it difficult for teams to complete passes. You gotta make them. All right, let's see what other teams do to the Knicks. When the Knicks would run the triangle, how did they used to make it hard for the Knicks to run the triangle? They would you even see it sometimes. The Knicks is damn near by half court. They can't even make a pass. That's good defense. The Knicks don't do that. They let you make pass after pass and just try to block your shot. That's not good defense. That's not good defense. It's too late. You're allowing too much movement. You got to disrupt. See, good defense is not about literally. I realize good defense is not completely about stopping your man or stopping them from scoring. It's about making it difficult. Because what happens is when you play up on teams, when they pass the ball and they're moving the ball around, teams sometimes get lackadaisical. They make bad passes. They make lazy passes. That's how you get steals. Because you're playing up on your man, and the man who's guarding the man with the ball is playing up on him. You're playing up on your man who doesn't have the ball. They don't do any kind of denial except for in the post. No, deny every single man. Make it hard for each player to get the ball. Make it hard to pass. Fight over picks. I don't care if you get fouls every now and then. Run through a fucking pick. Let them know that we here to play some motherfucking defense. And the reason why I was watching yesterday against Indiana, and they just was going about their plays. That's not how you do it. You don't run along with your guy. You get a little physical. You make it hard for people. Now, good defenders do this on their own. You know, they don't have to be taught this. Now, so that's the only difference between a good defender and a bad defender, is a good defender realizes defense is all the time. Defense isn't just when your man gets the ball. No, I'm going to relax now. I'm going to chill. Oh, my man got the ball. Let me play up on defense. No, it doesn't work that way. Defense is, I'm going to try to keep my man from getting the ball. And everybody have to be in that same mindset. When they dribble that ball over half court, as soon as that player dribbling the ball gets into scoring range, as soon as he gets near the three-point line, you should be up in him. You should be in his chest. And I don't see that from the Knicks. They allow the player to dribble down the court. Let's get into our sets and run our plays. That's terrible defense even before the shot goes up. You have to make every step of the way difficult. Good defenses make things difficult for people. They don't always stop you. They make it difficult. And then a defensive rebound. The Knicks are always scrambling. Why are you always scrambling? Because you're not up on your man. So what happens is, then when your man gets the ball, you got to run out to him, and then he runs right by you. Then the other man has to rotate over. Then there's a pass and a dunk or alley-oop. I see it all the fucking time. I see it all the time. I'm watching the game, and I'm like, the reason why that alley-oop happened, see, you're wondering, how did that man get loose? Well, it starts way back when. It starts in the beginning when the guy makes the first pass. You look at the guy at the three-point line. The Knicks defender is not playing on him. He's playing off of him. He's not doing what Clyde Frazier would say. See your ball, see the ball, see your man. See the ball, see your man. I'm not seeing that from the Knicks. What happens is they sag off their man. Now, people who play 2K understand what I'm saying. They sag off their man. Then the pass goes to their man, and he's running over there. And the man fakes and goes in. And then what happens is it causes a rotation and a breakdown in the defense every single time. If you deny your man and you stay on your man and you stay close to your man, and you make everything difficult. You make his passes difficult. You make the picks difficult. Sometimes you hedge on the picks and double. They're not being taught these principles. You can't tell me they're being taught these principles, or they're not listening. If they're not listening and nothing's happening, that's a problem with coaching. Basically, it's a problem with coaching all the way around. I don't know what the fuck Rambis is telling them. What the fuck is he, a spy? He's not coaching defense. Get the fuck out of here. They need to find a real defensive coach. And these guys need to understand defensive principles, because I see a lot of lazy play. And to me, it's lazy play. You know why I call it lazy? I don't want to hear about they don't have the fucking personnel, because they have the personnel when they're making a comeback. You ever notice that? When the Knicks made that comeback against the Bucks, they had the personnel. They was up in their chest like you're supposed to be from the fucking time the ball tips up. Paying attention, alert. Showing energy, looking around, making sure they playing D. That's what you're supposed to do. So I don't want to hear that they don't have the personnel. I've seen them play good defense. Maybe it's conditioning, which is sad. And if it's conditioning, sit motherfuckers down, get the young players in there, let them run around. But I'm going to tell you like this. They need to play defense the right way. That lazy fuck. How many times everybody... Now look, I'm a Melo fan. How many times we've seen Carmelo do this? Carmelo sagging back. Oh, I'm just going to sit back. And then they pass this man. You see Carmelo running out there. See, that happened because you bullshitting. You're not playing your man. So everybody thinks... It's plain and simple. Watch the Knicks games. Watch when they're engaged. It's funny that they got to say engaged. What the fuck you need to be engaged? You should be engaged because you want to win the fucking game. You got to be engaged when you get down by 20. Oh shit, now let's play D. When you allow a team to come down and run their plays, it's too late once they get to the end of the play. It's too late when they make a pass and a guy runs around for a curl. By the time you start trying to play defense, they're going to pick you off. They're going to have a man step out and set a pick, and that man's going to be open for the shot. You see? But if you disrupt the play early, when they go to make their couple passes or whatever pass they make, and you extend the defense and make them adjust, now you just threw them off. So that's all I really got to say in this podcast this time. I'm watching them play D, and it just dawned on me that they're not being taught any kind of defensive principles, or they're not implementing them, or they're not listening. But I'm wondering, though, because the more I watch the games and when I see the Knicks make comebacks, I see good defensive principles when they're making the comebacks. For some reason, they don't do it all game. Fuck taking a player out for a bad shot. Take him out if he's not defending his passes. Take him out if his hands ain't up. He's falling asleep on defense. Sit the fuck down. We need players that's engaged all day. That's what I'm saying. Now, with that being said, the Knicks are or should be a playoff team even with this fucked up defense. But they have a bottom 5 defense, and that shouldn't be. That's just pure D laziness. Period. Thank you for letting me rant. This brings us to the end of this podcast. I'm your host. My name is Greg Armstrong, and this is episode number 31, Knicks Home Court. And yes, I'm a little frustrated with this team right now because they're not getting beat because of talent. They're getting beat because of effort. Don't let nobody lie to you. Watch them when they're making a comeback. Watch them when they're engaged. They know how to play this fucking D. You know, they know how to, I thought about it. I said, they're not being taught principles. Maybe they're not being taught the principles. Maybe it's not being hammered down. Maybe it's not something they're not really putting in. Like, listen, look at the tape. Why didn't you defend these passes? Why are you sagging off your man? What are you doing? You're not even a fucking shot blocker. Why are you defending the paint? Why teams are so open for threes? Because they're able to just make passes so easily. They're able just to run their offense. Anyway, and again, I implore Knicks fans, please watch other good teams play defense and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Being engaged, making everything difficult. That's a good defense. Everybody, take care. Have a good week. Peace.